COVID-19 tests come back positive for the boys in blue. This weekend's game against the Steelers has been postponed. News Channel 5's John Burton is following the latest developments. And John, a whole lot of people are disappointed about this.
Yeah, and I'm one of them, Vicki. It was supposed to be a huge AFC matchup against two undefeated teams, but the Tennessee Titans and Pittsburgh Steelers will have to wait to play one another after another Titans player and another team staff member tested positive for COVID-19. The NFL felt they had no choice but to postpone the scheduled game until sometime later this season.
At 8:30, we had a squad meeting, informed the team that in light of the two recent positives test that we had, the NFL had made the smart and safe decision to postpone our game.
Again, one Titans player, rookie defensive back Christian Fulton, and one staff member were added to the list of 4 players and 5 staff members who tested positive for the coronavirus, which prompted the league's decision to postpone Sunday's game. So the Titans are now on their bye week. The team's facility remains closed, and head coach Mike Vrabel has encouraged his players not to gather until everyone gets healthy again.
We'll keep forging ahead, and we'll get confident that we'll get everyone healthy, and that we'll continue to make it a safe environment, and to try to make sure that the players' safety and their families and our coaches are at the forefront.
Titans say they hope to be able to return to their practice facility by early next week to get ready for their game against the Buffalo Bills. That's coming up a week from Sunday, so the question remains, are the Titans in jeopardy of next week's game being affected? News Channel 5's Chris Davis spoke to some medical experts today. He joins us live with more on that. Chris?
Well, John, in a lot of ways, Dr. Diamond, the doctor we spoke to, kind of sounded like a football coach. He said there's a lot that the Titans are doing right, but there's always room for improvement.
This is not going to be status quo. This is not going to be normal.
Dr. Alex Diamond says with 2 more from the Titans organization testing positive for COVID-19, the NFL had no choice.
Certainly it's disheartening and difficult to cancel games and reschedule, but it's certainly, I agree with, it's the right move to make.
The question now becomes how many more games might meet the same fate.
Really, your quarantine time continues to start with that most recent case. But again, it also depends on, is there any continued interaction with those individuals as those tests come back?
To that end, head coach Mike Vrabel has asked all players and staff to stop interacting outside of work. Diamond says what the team does on their own time is just as important as when they're gathered together.
Mask wearing that we keep pushing, hand washing, social distancing, doing those things throughout the day in as many situations as possible is going to lower your risk for being a risk to yourself or someone else.
The Titans are in the national spotlight as the first NFL squad rocked by COVID, but he says the team has the right game plan.
When we hear positive tests, we worry the protocols aren't working, but I think you have to flip the thinking on it that protocols are working because they're catching them.
He believes their strategy is also preventing further spread.
You may have a few positive tests, but if those protocols weren't in place, you may be looking at 15, 20, 30 positive individuals.
So while the NFL had no choice but to cancel this upcoming game, Diamond says the team does on how long this hiatus may last.
This is a reminder that the disease is still here, it's serious, and we need to continue to take those precautions. And the more we take those precautions, again, not only on the field, but in the regular part of our lives.
Back-to-back touchdown. The Titans are the first official NFL team to deal with COVID, but they likely won't be the last, according to Dr. Diamond. He says all 32 teams in the NFL need to be prepared at some point in this season. They may have to shut down for 2 weeks to make sure this virus doesn't spread anymore. Live downtown, Chris Davis, News Channel 5.